What's up, guys? Welcome to Information Operation. I'm Connor Ryan, and we're coming at you from Marquette, Michigan, bringing you your locally sourced ideas, thoughts, and inquiries. Today on the podcast, we feature Rachel Sabin. She is originally from Gladstone, Michigan, and currently a health coach. She focuses on nutrition and making good decisions with our youth and adults. Also an avid outdoorswoman and yogi, it was a pleasure to sit down with her, pick her brain about what she does, how she wakes up every morning to stay motivated to lead by example when it comes to health. Rachel Sabin, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Connor, for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Definitely. So let's get started by talking about what you do on a day-to-day basis. Like, what is your position?
Yeah, so I work at the Marquette Algerisa as a health education consultant, and I have a couple different hats that I wear at Marisa. One hat is I'm a program lead for one of our nutrition programs.
Right on.
Another hat is I go into classrooms and teach students about nutrition, eating healthy, and physical activity. And then I train teachers on a Michigan model for health curriculum. And then lastly, I go into middle schools to teach a Botvin's Life Skills program. It's like a substance youth prevention program.
Very cool. And this is working with what age range of children?
The nutrition education is kindergarten through 5th grade.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's super fun. And then the Botvin's is middle schoolers, so 6th through 8th grade.
That's awesome. So I don't remember having something like this in my school. How did this get started?
All right, so this is year 6 now of our nutrition program, and I originally was hired at Marisa to teach nutrition.
Okay.
It was like 100% my job.
Yeah.
And the whole program is funded through a SNAP education grant through the federal government.
Right on.
Yeah, so SNAP education, like the schools qualify based on their free and reduced lunch rates. So we started in 10 schools all around the central upper peninsula, and now we're in 18 schools.
Righteous.
And then we have another nutrition program funded by the Michigan Health Endowment Fund.
Okay.
That's in even more elementary schools. So we're in about 33 total schools all around the central UP.
So this keeps you busy.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
Road warrior. And I love listening to podcasts while I'm driving. So
Imagine that.
yeah, this is fun.
Maybe you can listen to this on your next
Ooh, listen to
trip.
myself.
Potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, other people are going to do it.
Yeah.
So how did these people think of this idea to bring nutrition? Because are you an outside entity coming into the schools?
So I go into the various schools and have my car packed with all of the materials necessary.
Right.
So like I'll shop in Marquette for the food, get it all prepared, load up my cooler, drive to a school, and then wheel my cooler around to the different classrooms in the school.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like a guest presenter.
Very cool. And what kind of reactions do you get?
Oh, so many.
I bet.
It's a blast. It's so fun going into so many different classrooms because I get to meet so many different teachers and so many different students.
Right.
And sometimes I'll take food out of a cooler and the students immediately know what the food is and they're super, super excited.
Sure.
Or I'll show them a food and they immediately say, like, Miss Sabin, I've tried that before and I don't like
It's
it.
gross. Yeah.
Or the third reaction I see is the students have never seen a certain food or if they've never heard about it before. So they're pretty hesitant to try it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's the whole premise, is like bringing new foods in and helping kids to try new things.
Absolutely. So it's not only talking about eating healthy and talking about moving your body. We actually do food demonstrations in the classroom.
It's interactive.
Exactly.
Right.
And
Learn by doing.
Exactly. And we get up and move in the classroom too.
That's so fun.
It is really fun, Connor.
So do you like your job, Rachel? It sounds all right.
Yeah, I do really like it. It's a blast.
Right on.
And then you get to like build some relationships too because you go into the same classroom
Right.
multiple times throughout the school year. So the students for the most part, they get super excited to try food, you
Yeah.
know?
And are you able to see progress? Like, do you see a
Mm,
difference in the work that you're doing?
absolutely. I see it through conversation with the students. They'll come up to me and they'll say, like, I told my mom or my dad about the recipe that we tried in class and now we're
Yeah.
making it.
Yes.
Or I'll run into parents at the grocery store and they're like, hey, like, my son or daughter was talking about the food that they tried. I had no idea they liked it, and now we're buying that food.
Right.
And then we have a lot of hard data to actually show the progress of the
Right.
programs.
Quantifiable things and
Exactly.
variables that have been changed throughout the program.
Exactly. Since it's all grant funded, there's a lot of fun surveys that
Definitely.
go along with that.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you find your way into nutrition at first?
Ooh, that's a whole windy road.
Cool. That sounds all right.
All right. So, I grew up in Gladstone,
Okay.
like 60 miles south of here,
Yep.
and I had a very beautiful, simple UP childhood. Uh, and my mom was always telling my brother and I to go out and play outside. So that was kind of like our avenue of getting exercise, was playing outside.
Sure.
And then my dad was always inside cooking in the kitchen. So I kind of had like this very cool dynamic in my house. Like mom was teaching us about physical activity and dad was teaching us about cooking.
Great combo.
Yeah, but meat and potatoes and bread were like our staples.
Yeah.
And I didn't really discover a big passion for cooking with vegetables and clean eating until later in life. Uh, Throughout high school, I had a lot of troubles with like disordered eating and figuring out how to fuel my body. And I kind of took like an unhealthy path there. I was very confused and like had a very restrictive diet, and
Yeah.
it wasn't healthy,
Right.
and I didn't really know what to do. And then I went to college at Northern, and I was studying nursing at the time, doing all those prereqs,
Sure.
and nutrition was one of the prereqs.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with that class.
Nutrition for humans.
Yes,
Did
absolutely.
you have Linnea Joubert?
No, I was her TA though.
She's phenomenal.
She's amazing.
Yes.
I had Mawafi.
Yeah. So it grabbed you.
It grabbed me. Like I was so excited to go to class every day, and I was like healing myself through the education,
Yeah.
which is what helps me be so passionate about my job now. So I had a better understanding of how food was fueling my body, and I started to, heal, kind of heal my body and my perspective on
Right.
food and change my mindset
Right.
based on what I was learning.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Because that's translating into real world results from education. Like you're not just going and getting knowledge. You're implementing that knowledge and doing it consistently.
Absolutely.
Knowledge, application, consistency is like the secret to success.
Yeah, consistency is a huge
Anything.
part.
Anything you want to do.
So yeah, after that I went to my advisor.
Switch your major.
I was like, I need to switch it, and fell in love with health prevention.
Sure. So community health
Yeah, community
yeah,
health,
that's a great program.
a minor in nutrition.
Okay.
Are you studying something along those lines too?
Yes, it's management of health and fitness.
Okay.
So it's a little more geared towards the gym environment, nutrition for performance, athletes. Dig it.
Yeah, that's a great major.
Yeah.
I had a
Lots
lot
of
of
options there.
Totally. I had a lot of classes with management of health and fitness students, and yeah, the two majors align very well together.
Yeah. So you kind of graduate with an amazing degree that you liked. How did you fit into the world that we live in?
Yeah. Throughout college, when I switched my major over to community health education, I was kind of like a sponge, just taking it all in. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I liked nutrition and I liked working with kids, so I
Yeah.
would like volunteer at school lunch programs, and like volunteered in the nutrition department at the hospital. Asked a million questions,
Sure.
and yeah, took it all in. And then after college, I was going to go be a ski bum out west.
Yeah, yeah.
I know. It didn't happen though. I remember going back to Northern in the fall, and I had lunch with my brother and just walking through campus, and I ran into my old boss, Lenny Scheibel, who used to be the director for the health promotion office.
Yeah.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah.
I think so highly of him. And he found out about the job posting for the nutrition education job at Marisa and went home that night, filled out the application, and right before I was about to drive out west to be a ski bum, like I had my down payment on the house and everything, I got the call from Marisa that I got the job.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I've been in Marquette ever since.
Wow. Right on. And that encouraged you to go back for your master's?
Yeah.
What kind of decision was that? How do you feel about all that?
Oh, I'm still processing it. It's
It's a lot of effort.
yeah, I've been done with it for about 5 weeks now, so it's pretty fresh.
Yeah.
But I totally believe in lifelong learning, and there's always something else you can learn. And I went back for.
See?
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I'm fidgeting.
Right.
I went back for public health, and I love public health because it's so broad.
Right.
And it helps communities and populations on a very large scale. So it paired really well with my work at Marisa.
And what was the master's like in? What was your...
Yeah.
There's not really a major, there's a focus, so...
Mm-hmm.
What was your focus?
Well, master's in public health.
Yeah.
So it was like a very broad program. But we had classes on like biostatistics, health communication, environmental health, health marketing. What else?
Was it
It's all a
applicable?
blur, Connor.
Was it applicable? Do you feel like it was a really valuable pursuit to
Yeah,
get you where you're at now?
I think it was valuable. A lot of it was online courses, and then I would go down to Grand Rapids and go to class down there.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it was a cool crew of people that we got to bond together and
Yeah.
got to work on a lot of various health projects.
Very cool.
But it was nice because I was applying a lot of what I was learning to my job.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in the world of health, it's basically problem solving, and abstract thinking allows you to solve those complex issues with abstract ideas and solutions. What do you see as the main problem?
With health in general.
Yeah, where does it start? Like, where's the disconnect?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It's a thinker.
Yeah, if we had the answer, I feel like life would be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
What's
think,
your answer?
yeah, what you mentioned about consistency. I think consistency is huge. And I think all of the little habits that we have every single day make up who we are. And yeah, I think taking a look at health as a very holistic approach is important, and sometimes there are those disconnects.
Right. I say that with my business. You can't lift weights and be a better person. Like, if you're coming to be a better person, you're not going to do it by just throwing some weight around.
Yeah,
It is a holistic approach. It's how
absolutely.
you approach everything. So, what do you think people could change? Would it just be a change of mindset, or one simple change a day? How would you approach that, or how do you approach that?
Yeah. I think mindset is huge, and your perspective on health is also very important. But yeah, I definitely think exercise is the key to a lot of, like, solving a lot of our problems and our happiness. And yeah, I guess there's like a recipe for health, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think mindfulness is amazing. Like, I'm talking to a yoga teacher right now.
Definitely.
I think taking time to, practice being mindful and filling up your own cup is super important. And food is extremely important too, and exercise. And I also think everything in moderation too. I think we can be really hard on ourselves, and moderation's a huge part of my health journey.
Definitely. Because expecting things for yourself can let you down. Right? When the picture doesn't look how it might have on the beautiful day that you saw everything through the camera lens, you're disappointed with it.
Absolutely.
So expectations really kill the journey or the experience.
What do you think we could be doing differently?
I think that it starts with how we look at ourselves, right? If we think that we need to be this certain way, or we see other people and we may compare ourselves to other people, people in media, people around us, it creates a very daunting task for us to tackle. And it's discouraging. And it really helps to just meet ourselves where we're at here and now. That takes some work,
It does.
right?
Every day you have to work on it.
And it's not only that, it's every moment. Like being here and now is a shift in mindset for a lot of people.
Totally. And that makes me think, we live in this very fast-paced society and we want things right away. And with health, sometimes that can be the expectation of like, I want to lose 10 pounds and I want it to happen by next Saturday.
Right. And then you get this. You get the really high spikes like, oh, I'm feeling so healthy. I'm feeling so healthy. And then the results taper. It's natural. Back down. And it's just a vicious cycle.
Absolutely. I read this awesome book this summer called The 5-Second Rule.
Yeah.
Have you ever read that one?
No.
Oh, it's so good. It talks about like tricking your brain, basically, and counting down from 5 and then acting on what you're trying to do. So
Right.
it's very applicable to like exercise and cooking and like not hitting your snooze button on your alarm and like getting up to go exercise.
Yes.
Because I feel like we sometimes want to wait for motivation to get healthy and to
Right.
work on our health journey, when in reality, if we just do it and
Yep.
make those changes, that's when there can be like a beautiful transformation.
Right. If you don't instantly say yes, yes, it's a no.
Absolutely. And that's when our brains can take over and we can overthink things.
Right. There's a happy medium between your intellect, your brain, and your intuition. Your
Absolutely.
gut.
Yeah. Even just today, I was feeling kind of tired and I wanted to take a nap.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love napping and sleeping's important.
Sure.
But I really needed to go move my body.
Yeah.
And I was like overthinking it. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get on my bike and go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah. And it feels better. It feels better than taking a nap.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yes,
Sometimes.
you need sleep. I understand. But a lot of times we go to that extent. I need to lay down. I need to go to sleep. When really your body was calling for the blood to move some things around, to get kind of a reset, to aid maybe some digestion.
Yeah.
Can you shed any light on that? How movement helps facilitate food to becoming fuel?
Yeah. It's kind of like 2 big puzzle pieces, right? Like we need exercise and we need to fuel our bodies with nutrition.
Right.
And I mean, we could work out all day long, but we also need to fuel our bodies with the right nutrition.
Right.
Yeah. Like what we put into our bodies is how our bodies are going to react. And we can exercise better and feel better and move our bodies better and become stronger people if we're putting the right fuel in our body.
Yeah.
Where am I going with this?
I don't know. In the coaching world, you see a lot of coaches like preaching all this stuff, and
Yeah.
when they're not doing it, it's kind of like, I don't know, why am I going to listen to this guy?
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
It's cool as a teacher. You are out there
Yes.
doing it.
Yeah, that's a huge slogan that the Michigan Fitness Foundation uses is they learn from watching you.
Right. Lead by example.
Yeah, students pick up on so much.
They know when you're full of shit. They just know. Kids just know. They're like, get away from me.
I remember seeing a student when I was at Frosty Treats this summer.
Yeah.
Like, Miss Sabin, what are you doing? I'm like, it's all about moderation.
Of course.
It was a good moderation lesson.
Right.
Oh.
So that vicious cycle is not only hard and discouraging on your mind, like, oh, I'm not good enough. I need to get better, back down. But that's also hard on the heart.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, CVD is the biggest risk factor in this country right now. Have you done any like looking into how other countries eat comparatively to the United States?
Ah, yes. I mean, there are so many different ways countries and societies approach their
Yeah,
nutrition and their diets. And I mean, in America, the portion sizes are very, very large compared to some other regions.
right.
And even how we view ourselves and how we eat. And what I
Uh-huh.
mean by that is,
Culture.
yeah, oh, culture's huge in food. Like eating with other people has huge benefits, and taking time to spend an evening cooking with friends, like it has huge benefits. It's not only about the calories that you consume, right?
Big time.
Yeah,
It makes a big difference.
yeah. Food has so much meaning to it, and I mean, there are plenty of people and plenty of places in the U.S. that really value their food too,
No doubt.
and how they approach it. But I think that makes a huge, huge difference.
Is the cultural aspect.
Oh yeah.
It just makes me think of the people, you see driving down the road at like 60 miles an hour, just like smashing a quarter pounder and a large soda. And like that's their dinner time. That is their dinner time.
Oh yeah, and
That's common.
oh yeah, and like no judgment. Like there's so many things going on, and I mean I've been there.
See lunchtime, dinner time,
Yeah,
lines at Taco Bell and McDonald's packed.
right. But we've seen kind of over time, food used to be there used to be so much time put into preparing for meals
Yeah.
and eating around the kitchen table, and sometimes we kind of lose that practice where food is kind of put on, no pun intended, the back burner, and it becomes this thing we have to do really, really fast.
It's like a chore.
Yeah, like a chore.
Like exercise.
Exactly.
Exercise becomes a chore
Uh-huh.
and less enjoyable.
Yeah.
So how do we change that?
I think there's so many things. Education, practicing the skills, our whole approach, right?
Making it fun.
Yeah.
Making food fun. Like you do with the kids.
Yes. Yeah, that's a huge part of it.
Making exercise fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And helping people understand the benefits of it.
Right.
And helping people find what they like to do.
Yeah. Yeah, because what are we fueling? Adults especially need to know, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
All the time. Like that's a principle in learning for adults is they need to know why. You can't just put them in a row in a classroom and say, learn this information. They will burn out and they'll quit if they don't know why they're doing it, especially if it's just random
Yeah,
information.
that's for sure.
So it helps to have purpose. All these factors, the exercise, the yoga, the nutrition, the inspiration that you find, they all create like a tower. And the tip of the tower or the main structure is the why.
Oh, the why is huge.
Right.
And like
To be a
digging,
better mother, to be a better father, to be a better athlete, to be a better whatever you are.
yeah, and digging for that why during those low moments is amazing. Like
Yeah.
when you can remind yourself why you want to be healthier,
Yeah.
I feel like is a good reminder.
Yeah. I'm a coach, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Do
a
you coach?
teacher.
Do you coach wrestling?
Yes, I'm the varsity wrestling coach for Ishpeming High School.
Nice.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
So that's coming up.
Oh, season's coming
Yeah,
up soon.
Coach Connor, stoked. Major.
Oh, that must be amazing.
Yeah, that changed my life.
Really?
Wrestling? Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, high school wrestling was a big part of my development. As I want to say, as a professional, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today without those experiences that I had.
So did you have a coach that you
Yeah,
like look up to?
yeah.
And there was okay.
Derek Moskovic, he was a
Shout out.
superhero, a superhero in every extent of the word. And he was EMS. He was a firefighter. He was our wrestling coach. He had a master's degree in physical ed, and he wrestled in the Big Ten at Illinois, and he went to NCAA nationals. And he wrestled 118. He's 5 foot tall.
Nice.
He was 5 foot tall. A man, right? He lived a tough life with that, and he proved that there's nothing that's gonna stop him. It's definitely not his height. because he was a monster. You know, he was deadlifting 400 or 500 pounds, which is impressive.
Wow, what a guy. What a human.
Yeah, so he was like my real inspiration to being my best. You know, he was his best every day. You could just tell. It was like coming. It just came off of him. He didn't have to try. And yeah, I learned that you shouldn't have to try to be your best. You should just be it.
Just be. Oh, mentors are the best.
Yeah. Tell me about some of your mentors.
All right. Side note, I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable here.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes.
I'm like, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, that's kind of usually gets pretty flowy. The first few sentences, you're like, what are we doing
Like,
here?
I don't even really know what I've said so far. I'm kind of bouncing all over.
Yeah, that's fine.
Disclaimer, first podcast ever.
22, I think.
Oh. So my mentors. My dad is one of my biggest mentors.
Right on.
Yeah. I'll have to ask him to watch this now. But he's like such a calm human being. And he like approaches everything with such a calm mindset. And now as an adult, like looking back at my childhood, I realized how amazing he was. Like
Right.
when I would go to him like with my problems or like excitements, like anything in life, he was always like, he was like the rock in my life. Like I could go to him with anything. And like still now, he's like so calm and collective and
Yeah.
oh yeah. He like
What did he help you get through?
everything.
Right?
School, boys,
Yeah.
careers, all of it. He like really taught me that listening is so powerful.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
like
big one.
he kind of goes throughout life like having like a very genuine personality with everyone that he talks to. Like he's so like not judgmental and like yeah, just a good human being.
It makes me wonder what changes over the years or throughout generations to make those kind of superhero people. Because we have people we look up to and then strive to be people that others look up to. How do you live up to that?
Oof. I think like passing it forward is a huge part of what I think.
Yeah.
Working with children, like I want to be a good role model for these kids, and I want to show them that, especially with health, like I want to show them you can live this healthy lifestyle, and living healthy can enable you to live a beautiful life.
Right.
And I feel like this is a good segment to share my quote.
Yeah. Please do.
I'm super into like self-development books, and this is one quote that I found from a book recent. It's good health enables us to play, to seek out adventures, to pursue happiness. So that's something I really want to pass along to the kids that I'm working with is good health can like open doors to so many beautiful avenues in life.
Yeah. That's solid. And it doesn't sound like it's necessarily Rachel's way.
No way.
Right?
No, there's
like-
a million different avenues to live a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. And you're enabling these kids to find that way for themselves. One thing that's always true is you can't walk the walk or walk the path for these kids or for these people, no matter what circumstance you're in. As a wrestling coach, I can't make my kids want to be there. They have to show up, walk through the door. I can facilitate, but I can't step out on the mat for them.
Well, and it's empowering when they make their own decisions and they take action towards whatever they're trying to reach.
Yeah, whatever that may be. What kind of things do you point out to these kids to help them, pick this up?
I really try to celebrate what they're already doing.
That's a great, yeah.
Yeah.
That's listening.
Oh, yeah. That's like the first lesson is like asking these students what they already do that's healthy and like helping them understand what healthy even is. And then kind of going from there and trying to incorporate recipes into the lessons that they could, like go home possibly, talk to their family about maybe it's ingredients that they have in their kitchen. But yeah, trying to meet them where they are and making things very tangible so
Right.
they can go home and do it.
Right. It's not like over here
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like building on what already is set as their foundation.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, like helping the students understand that exercising can mean so many different things too. Like there are plenty of students that tell me like they work on their farm or like
Yeah,
they
that's
go out
cool.
and like haul wood or something. I'm like, that's movement.
Right.
Like all of those things.
Right.
So helping them appreciate what they're already doing and then how they can build on that.
And have you heard some funny stuff
Oh
from
yeah.
the kids? I always find that to be really entertaining.
Oh gosh, what can I think about right now? There's so many good quotes and stories. Um,
What's healthy,
I don't
Rachel?
know. Yeah, they're so cute.
Protein.
Protein.
Guess what? Floss.
Oh yeah, I see a lot of flossing.
I know, that's like rampant in our schools now.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know, the floss is a dance move with the hips and the arms that go side to side
Yep.
at opposite
Can you do it, Connor?
cadence. Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
I've had enough practice.
I recently learned
schools.
how to do that.
It takes longer for adults to learn, you know. It's much easier for the children.
Yeah.
But in
Oh.
your field, you know, you have an extensive background in education, it sounds like. And you've read a lot of books and, you know, taken a lot of notes. But what is some real world experiences that have helped like shape you as a professional?
Mm-hmm.
Not so much in the classroom.
Right. Ooh. God, these are great questions, Connor.
Yeah, I don't write anything
Yeah,
down.
you're just going for
I
it.
don't like that. It works better this way.
Oh, my real life experiences. So, I worked on a strawberry farm throughout high school,
Yeah.
and that was like my first experience understanding where food came from, and
Yeah.
it was hard work. Like that gave me
Yeah.
a huge appreciation and like work ethic. Like going to the strawberry farm at 6:30 in the morning and picking berries.
Yeah, like actually these don't come from a plastic box that you pick up at the grocery store.
Right.
That's actually not where they come from.
Mm-hmm.
Big dot connector there.
Totally. So yeah, that was a huge part. And what else? I think volunteer experiences throughout Marquette too have
Totally.
really shaped my understanding of food and education and all of that good
And
stuff.
people,
And people. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
What kind of volunteering?
Yeah. So like have volunteered at the farmers market, like doing some
Yeah.
little food demos, like bringing the bike blender down there and
That's sweet.
yeah, it's super fun. Shout out to the Superior Health Foundation for funding our bike blender.
That's a good idea.
It's so fun. Yeah, it's a little blender on the back of a bike. We turned a mountain bike into a stationary bike, and
Yeah.
there's like a little metal rod that spins and rubs against the back tire, and then powers the blender.
Did that
So-
block have some doing in that?
Yeah, he helped build it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
go
think-
Matt.
Right on.
So yeah, pedal powered smoothies. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I feel like all of so many good volunteer experiences, like at the hospital again, and all of those have added up to what I know now.
Yeah. And you mentioned in the beginning that it's beyond nutrition. Like you have many different hats. Could you talk about the other three that we haven't?
Yeah, absolutely. One other part of my job is teaching a program called Botvin's Life Skills. So I go into some middle schools around Marquette County and teach the students about substances, and it's all about prevention.
Yep.
It's a fascinating curriculum.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. It's very skills based. So it teaches students about different substances, what they can do to the body and what they do to the brain. And we practiced like how you would get out of peer pressure situations, how you would get out of those
Wow.
sticky situations.
Cool.
Yeah, and then it's also it teaches them like why people might go down those paths of life
Yeah.
and what you could do instead.
Yeah.
So we actually do a lot of mindfulness throughout those
And
lessons.
again, like incorporating interaction between them and in interaction with activities.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we talk a lot about self-esteem, self-image. We talk about anxiety and how to deal with those feelings. We talk about anger.
Yeah.
Um,
Where do you find that
yeah.
most of that's coming from? Because it wasn't
Ooh.
that big of a deal when I was younger.
You think so?
When I was in school, we didn't talk as much about anxiety or depression. I feel like it's increasing, awareness is increasing.
Yeah. I feel like there are a lot of pressures in society, right? And trying to live up to these expectations.
Yeah, yeah.
And we see different lives being portrayed on social media
Right.
that we try to live up to.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like that can have something to do with it. I'd love to hear, what do you think?
Well, not only that, and that's huge, is the expectations that we create for ourselves, but it's the actual doing of the looking at others, or looking externally for gratification. Worse yet, instant gratification. Anything that is worthwhile is going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. And that's not meant to turn people away. It's meant to like motivate people to be different. And I find that a lot of, you know, high school kids, they want to fit in. And there's this mold that is not set up for success to fit into. It's more so a mold of stagnation. And anybody who is honest, anybody who is just stand up and be different and be themselves when it comes down to it is weird or dorky or a goody good, and they get ridiculed for being the beautiful person that they truly are. So I think it's like not embracing what's going on in here in your heart, and trying to reach externally to find your belonging. You know, it's a tough time in life when you don't have any solid ground to stand on. You don't really know who you are yet. So to reach in and try to like stand on your own, morals and things like that is like, what morals, right? So they find comfort in the external, right?
So what do you think the mold is that they're trying to fit into?
I think cool.
Okay.
What they think cool is, right? And that is determined by so many factors. It's the media. It is growing up, what your parents are like, what your friends are like, what the area that you grow up is like. You know, the UP is big into hunting. I come from Detroit. When I come up here and my kids at wrestling are talking about how they have to go hunting and they're not going to practice, I'm just like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? So now I'm the weird one because I don't hunt, right? And I remember when I was wrestling in high school, we all ridiculed the shit out of this kid who went hunting with his dad. He's like, what? We're just like, you let the whole team down. What a weirdo for hunting.
Roles have reversed. I totally grew up in a town where deer day, we like had off from school.
Yeah,
it was
off
amazing.
Of school. I'm like, practice is on, guys. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the deer hunting culture I think is so awesome.
It's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
To say the least.
But anyway, do you find wrestling like a great self-expression avenue for the students?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Because wrestling is like in a classroom setting, asking a kid, adolescents to high school age, to stand in front of the class and be prepared to be embarrassed in front of all of his peers. Be prepared to lay it all on the line and potentially have everything taken away from you. Be ready for that, because that's going to happen. You're not going to win every match. And your mom's watching, your coach is watching, all your best friends are watching. And you alone have to go out there and make it happen. And it's a tough pill to swallow when it doesn't happen. And you have all of your, you know, the people you care about the most see that. And they also see how you lose. And you have to be able to do it with grace.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a pretty powerful situation. What I go now as an adult going into situations like speeches
Mm-hmm.
or teaching yoga or doing anything in front of peers.
Mm-hmm.
Podcast. Nobody right now is going to try to take me down to the floor
Mm-hmm.
and put me on the ground and pin me to the floor in front of my mom. That's just not going to happen, right?
I don't think so.
Right. So not any speech, not any interview, not any job is that going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I have nothing to be afraid of.
That's good.
Yeah. It was big. Wrestling was big, and I think it can be
Mm-hmm.
for these kids if they want. If it's again, they're different
Right.
if they take on this task.
No, I love that. And what they're learning on the mat, they can bring to the real world.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's the intention.
Yeah. And I think finding those groups and those activities when you are growing up can make such a lasting change, lasting
Yeah.
effect on your life.
Yeah, and it's like that in academia too. Like, how many of these kids that you're working with are going to be teachers?
Ooh.
Slim. How many of my wrestlers are going to wrestle in the Olympics?
Mm-hmm.
Slim. We're using these principles as a vehicle to carry the life stuff.
Absolutely. I see the same with biking, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Like, we have amazing youth bike programs. You're smiling. If you're listening to this, Connor just put a huge grin on his face.
Yeah.
Like, what you can learn on the bike. I mean, as an adult, but especially as a kid, like, it can be hard. It can be exciting. You can be happy on your bike. It can get frustrating. And you learn how to get through those emotions
Yeah.
all on the bike. And I feel like you can apply a lot of that to your life outside of that.
Yeah. Do you try to connect those dots for people? Because I mean, sometimes kids
Yeah.
don't see the connection. They're just like, "Oh, we're riding bike. Should I?" And they pedal their bike.
Yeah.
But how do you connect those dots?
Oh, I think the kids themselves connect it, right? Without even
Maybe.
maybe knowing that.
Yeah.
But they're like going through something really tough sometimes on their bike. Like whether it's a race or a really hard ride or
A bad day.
a bad day, yeah, or even getting there, like making the effort to get on the bike and go out there. I feel like that applies to life, right? Like sometimes you don't want to do things and you just have to do it and you have to push through sometimes. But also like the social aspect of biking is huge too.
Yeah.
And like these kids are going through something together. Go bikes.
Yeah, go bikes. Camaraderie. That's righteous. Yeah. Coaching with the 906 Adventure Team was truly a privilege this
It's
summer.
amazing.
It's a great program.
It is.
So anybody with kids, 5 to 18
Yeah.
in Marquette County, get your kids signed up. It's free.
Totally. Yeah. There's an
If they need
awesome
bikes,
website.
They can help them with bikes.
Yeah. Todd has a lot of great information out there on
Yeah.
how to get involved in these programs.
906 Adventure Team.
Yep. Yeah, there's like a racing aspect and then some after school programs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a solid program. Same, yeah.
Yeah, I got to bike with some of the super young boys this summer. I was so impressed. It's incredible what they're capable of.
Yeah. Kids amaze me because they still haven't been like kids that age. They still haven't been, I don't want to say tainted. Tainted is a really kind of a strong word, but by, society and by people telling them, "Nah, you can't do that. That's too far out of reach." That's not in their wheelhouse yet. So they're totally genuine.
They're having fun.
Yeah. They're not trying to be anybody.
Yeah.
They're just doing it.
When did you start biking?
I started at 3. I
Really?
was 3 on my first two-wheeler, and then we built a jump when I was 5, and then we built a skate park when I was 8. I started mountain bike racing at 8, and I did, my first mountain bike trail was like a black diamond, up and down, narrow, rocky, on a 6-speed, 20-inch bike,
Rock
small.
on.
Yeah, when I was 10, I got my first 26-inch bike and soon broke that, which is a trend for me. I break most everything on my bike just because I'm real hard on it. And it's kind of an interesting story. I was always just into jumping. Like I did a few mountain bike races when I was real young, like kids
Mm-hmm.
mountain bike races, and I was like, nah, this is boring. I want to jump. I want to just like catch major air. And so we built the skate park bigger, and I was jumping like 15, 20 feet on these like wooden jumps that we built in my backyard.
So you were hardcore.
I guess. I wasn't in the X Games or anything, but I thought I was.
Nice.
Yeah, back downstate. And so I brought that same bike up to Marquette with me when I came to college.
Mm-hmm.
I got it when I was 10 years old, and I broke the derailleur, and I broke the rear rim, and I broke the front rim, and I blew the hubs. So I had all these like BMX parts on a mountain bike, and I took it on some of the most gnarly trails on South Trails. And this was a hardtail 26-inch bike with handlebars like this far apart. This is short for people who can't see.
Super short.
Right. And I was jumping it, like launching Jethro Tull, double take, Doug's back 9 on this like little ass bike. And I got a 4-point, and my dad offered to throw some money up to get me
Whoa.
a remedy.
Nice.
So I bought a truck remedy from Quick Stop Bike Shop when
All
I was
right.
a sophomore in college. And oh my gosh, that just
Life
changed my
changed.
life because this community is so much
Mm-hmm.
support for biking and community
Mm-hmm.
through the biking and through being outside.
Yeah, it's so supportive.
It's perfect.
It
There's
is.
so many cool people like yourself, who are doing this not as a chore,
Mm-hmm.
but as a lifestyle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I constantly am feeling incredibly lucky to live here.
Oh, Marquette?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Like,
And have you moved somewhere else? Have you been somewhere else?
I've lived, no, only in different places in the UP,
Okay.
but I've traveled to bike in different places.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel so grateful to bike from my garage and find a trail within a couple minutes.
Yeah. I want to hear
good
more about this retreat that you just got back from.
The retreat.
Because you traveled to do some biking.
Yeah, this retreat was so amazing. Hannah Barnes put a retreat on in Scotland.
Scotland.
Yeah, Scotland. And Hannah, she rides for Specialized, and she's in she races enduro. And so I've been following her on social media and followed her on her bike journey for years now.
Yeah.
And someone tagged me in one of her photos online, and she was posting about this retreat. And it was a mountain bike and yoga retreat in Scotland. And yeah, worked some things out to go. It was kind of like my congrats for finishing grad school trip. But yeah, the whole thing was amazing, Connor. It was a wonderful group of females that all traveled there alone. And we immediately clicked.
Yeah.
And everyone was from around the world, Alaska, Canada,
Yeah.
France, UK. Yeah, we all came together and biking was the thing that bonded us. And so it was 4 nights in Fort William. We stayed in these super cool yurts. And then there was a nice little cabin for us to make our food and do yoga, and we mountain biked from the little cabin. Yeah. But it was stunning. The whole thing was incredible. Oh, it's so mountainous and lush, and the trails were amazing. The food was incredible.
What was the
It's
facilitator
great.
like? You said Heather Barnes?
Hannah,
Hannah Barnes?
yeah, she was incredible.
Yeah.
Super genuine, super kind. Like really wanted to show her love of the trails there because she's from that area.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was great, and like everything was just so thoughtful, like everything that she planned out. But yeah, I've never done anything like that before.
Well,
Like
it's a really cool niche.
yeah, the retreat life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to facilitate something like that really, it intrigues me.
Yeah. Um, it was just so cool because like we got there, and everyone was so present in the moment, and like
Right.
it was a really cool way to get to know
It's like
people.
everyone's different, but everyone's the same.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was great. It was very empowering.
And did this inspire you to kind of start your own thing?
Ooh, with health coaching.
Yes.
So I did a health coaching school this last year
Yeah.
through the Health Coach Institute. And so the retreat itself didn't necessarily like inspire me to become a health coach.
So it was in the works. It was in the making.
Yeah, but I got a lot of really beautiful ideas at the retreat.
I bet.
Yeah. But yeah, the health coaching thing.
What's that all about?
Woo! So
It's fresh.
it's fresh. It's so new. I'm working with some folks on helping them achieve their health goals. So I'm working with people like one on one and also in some groups
Cool.
through the phone
Yeah.
and some like video chats. And then I'm hoping to do in person coaching too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes a big difference.
totally. But again, it's all fresh right now.
Yeah.
But basically, as a health coach, I want to help people like become the best versions of themselves.
Definitely.
So whether people are looking to lose weight, like improve their mood, deal with the daily stresses of life, like I want to help them discover their why, going back to that, like
Bingo.
why they want to be healthier, and then help them discover that they have the power to transform,
Yeah.
and like give them the resources and the tools, and then help them stay accountable to their goals.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm doing that through some food coaching. Have some, I'm doing like a 14-day cleanse right now with some folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I love my work in public health, but it's very broad sometimes.
Sure.
So health coaching is a really beautiful way to work one-on-one with people and really dig deep into why they want to change and help them get there.
And you can pinpoint things and point things out to them that are going to make a difference in their life.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I really try to like same with the kids, like embrace what they're already doing and then figure out how they can build on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about like lifestyle and habit change, and making those small changes every day can make such a huge difference.
Right.
And it's very individualized.
Yeah. When we talk about working with kids,
Mm-hmm.
it makes me think of, finding their why. And they still have so much time and so much opportunity to do so. And it seems like you found your why.
Yeah.
How did you figure that out, or when did you figure that out?
Ooh, like why I want to live a healthier lifestyle?
Yeah, and like teach others how to do it as well.
Yeah. I think when I worked at the health promotion office at NMU, that was like a very good learning year for me.
Yeah.
And my boss was incredible. His name is Lenny. And he totally like helped me become passionate about health education.
Passion.
Yeah, the passion behind it. And
The energy.
he taught me so many good things, and like he would say like we'd go give a presentation on something, and he's like, if you can change one person's life, like that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And he in turn really helped me. Like when I was going through a lot of different things, it was my senior year of college, and I won't go down that avenue, but he just was like such a good listener and like helped me understand that it was okay to have different struggles, and then
Right.
help me like deal with them. And I want to be that person for other people. Like I want to help people realize that it's okay to struggle and you can get through it and reach those health goals.
Right. Yeah, because believe it or not, those pains, those struggles are what teach you the most
Absolutely.
every time.
Yeah.
So it's all good. I love how like hippie talk is like, it's all good,
It's all
man.
good.
Right? But there's so much meaning to that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all these things that we say, it's all good. No doubt. No doubt. Wow, that's big. Living the dream. Right. Right.
I haven't said no doubt in a long time.
I like that one.
You like that one?
Yeah. Righteous.
Righteous.
Righteous?
Ooh.
That's a big word.
Yeah, it is.
When you look at it, it's not just like surfer talk. It's like
Mhm.
totally righteous.
Totally. But the other thing, I'm so passionate about health education because health is something that we use and do every single day,
Right.
right?
Yeah, you can't escape it.
Mm-hmm.
It's in our nature. We have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were talking about how eating used to be so much more of a like time and a sharing bonding experience rather than a feeding experience, it was more experiential.
Ooh, that's a good way to put it.
Before that, it was even more so like sacrificial. Like I'm sacrificing this land, this fire, this animal. You know, when they would, you know, take out an animal, you saw the process from killing an animal, butchering the animal, putting it over a fire, eating the animal, and you witness all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, being on a farm totally like clicks things in your mind to how we're getting this food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sometimes that's a big disconnect.
Right.
Even for me personally, right?
I mean, you can't see it all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first time I went to a farm was Seeds and Spores in Marquette, because there's no farms where I'm from. It's a city,
Yeah.
right? So I didn't know where food came from. I had never been on a farm before, unless it was a petting zoo or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
To see where vegetables are cultivated, to see where animals are living
Mm-hmm.
and eating grass and breathing and moving.
Yeah, and I feel like you really value your food when you understand how much work it is to grow it.
Right.
It takes a long time.
It does. And there's a lot of there's a lot of hard work that goes into that
Yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, people, it's truly like being a farmer is truly a hard and I'm sure rewarding
Yeah.
pursuit.
Yeah. I really admire farmers.
Do you bring that into the classroom with you?
I definitely try.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have like a lot of garden education that I do per se,
Yeah.
but I try to like sprinkle in aspects of gardening into the classroom. So talking about like, you know, avocados for example. Like we talk about where those can grow
Yeah.
and like how far it takes for an avocado to travel to the Upper Peninsula versus like a local apple and like how far that travels.
That's a good example.
Yeah, absolutely. And like
Or
try to
oranges and stuff like that.
absolutely, yeah,
It's a
oranges
long way.
too. And I give the kids almost like healthy homework. So like, hey, next time you're at the grocery store, like read the sticker on each produce item and figure out where that produce item came from.
Lots of Mexico.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
think of that, Rachel?
Oh gosh, we're going.
Imported foods.
Whoa. Yeah, I think.
Whoa.
I don't know. Some foods we import a lot of foods, right?
Yes.
But the UP also has a lot of wonderful farms. And so I think whenever you can, eating local is amazing,
Yeah.
right? Like we have such a beautiful farmers market and a co-op and
Yeah.
all of these wonderful places to shop. But again, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah. Have you heard of like eating seasonally?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I've heard about it.
Yeah.
I've never looked into, you know, implementation or what that would actually look like.
Oh, so what's really cool right now at Marisa, they partnered with Duke's Farm out in Scandia,
Yeah.
and we have like the community shared agriculture boxes that at Duke's Farm, they deliver them to Marisa. So this spring we had an opportunity as employees there to sign up for a CSA box.
Yeah.
And oh, it's so cool. It's so fun, like getting my box on Mondays and figuring out what was grown at the farm.
Sure.
But oops, sorry, messing with the microphone. So yeah, I think when you can know where your food is from, it's great, and it tastes really good.
Right.
Like a local carrot, I think tastes so good compared
Right.
to
And in season.
yeah.
With like grocery stores and imported foods, we don't
Yeah.
even understand like what does in season even mean
Right.
when you have it all at your fingertips.
Yeah, that's true. That can be very there can be a disconnect there.
We didn't used to have that choice.
Right. Yeah. That's funny that you say that. My dad grew up in the UP and he tried an avocado for the first time ever a couple years ago.
Wow.
And he said like that wasn't something that we like ever had in our kitchen. Like,
Right. So how do you think that goes back to generations?
yeah.
Like, how do you think the generation before us, compared to our youth, has shifted in mindset, like how we view food?
And again, I think it's all different compared on like how you've grown up, like with the food that you've grown up with, and culturally that food can be very different. But again, like we talked about, food can sometimes be like a very, very quick thing that we just are trying to scarf down some food really quick. But I mean, there are so many like fast food options now compared to what there used to be. And yeah,
That includes freezer food. Fast food is freezer food.
Ooh.
You know, like anything you put in your freezer that you put in the microwave and make is fast food. In my eyes.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. I do buy a lot of frozen veggies, actually.
That can be convenient though.
Totally. Yeah. To have them on hand.
So, how do you like go about writing a program for somebody?
Oh, for health coaching?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so again, this is all pretty new, but right now I'm doing the 14-day cleanse with some folks, and I have, like the first step is I want to talk to people and where they're at, like what they're trying to get out of this. And the whole cleanse is about eating clean for 14 days. There's a couple prep days and then 7 days of the actual cleanse and then 5 days of like reintroducing foods back into your diet.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a reset. Like a reset for what you're eating, what's in your kitchen, how you view food, and like a mental reset, right? 'Cause sometimes we feel like we need that.
Definitely.
Yeah, like we kind of get in this cycle of like eating out all the time or not feeling the best. So it's a good reset for that.
Yeah.
And the cleanse focuses on eating real foods, right? Like not eating foods with a million ingredients.
What's a real food?
Yeah. Fruits, veggies. It eliminates gluten for the 7 days.
Cool.
Yeah, it eliminates dairy. It eliminates a lot of meats because of the inflammation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I talk with people about like their hesitations about it, like their energy levels throughout the cleanse.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about getting enough water into your diet, and then we talk a lot about their caffeine levels, and because that's like a withdrawal almost, right? If you drink, if you drink whatever coffee or other types of caffeine, and then kind of detoxing from that. Yeah.
It can be bad.
Absolutely. So I have like a cleanse book almost that I give them, or like, yeah, you could call it an electronic book, full of resources like recipes and other ways that you can cleanse that are like
That's awesome.
non-edible foods, food activities. Like there's so many other ways we can nourish our body, like yoga or biking, or I like help them figure out what they already like to do, or like getting a massage, or even like hiring a house cleaner.
Perfect.
Or breathing for 5 minutes.
A lot of it comes down to the time that these people have.
Yeah, absolutely. And then,
And then reintegration.
yeah, so like reintegrating like gluten and
Yeah.
dairy and some meats, and then helping them figure out how they're feeling when they eat those foods. But yeah, a big takeaway from the cleanse is that hopefully people learn a couple different habits that they can take into their everyday life. So it's not like a diet mentality of doing this for 14 days and then being totally done,
Yeah.
but figuring out how they can bring aspects of it into their everyday life.
Just like education, right?
Absolutely.
Such as life.
Yeah, but it's really beautiful right now. Like people opening up and letting me know like what they want to change about their health, and
Yeah.
yeah, hoping to hopefully I'm helping them make those smaller changes.
And how can people find you?
Yeah. Are we already almost done?
It's been an hour.
What?
I know. That's crazy.
I did not. Okay. I'm going to listen back on this and be like, what was I even saying?
We could do like probably a second podcast.
Oh my goodness.
Just technically like on food, you know?
We could.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah. But I'm on Instagram. It's Rachel Sabin. And then I have a food Instagram. It's Wildly Healthy.
Yes.
And on both of those Instagrams, I have a link to a little site that I made.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's the site?
It's like a Wix site. It's a long URL, but
Sure.
but it's on my Instagram bios.
Perfect.
There's some information on health coaching, and then I have a bunch of recipes on there too.
Right on.
I shouldn't say a bunch. There are a couple.
So
I'm working on adding more.
Instagram at Rachel Sabin
Yeah.
or Wildly Healthy.
Yep. Or my email is rachel.wildlyhealthy@gmail.com.
Rock and roll.
Yeah. Well, Connor, thanks for having me.
No worries.
I was pretty nervous,
Nothing to be worried about.
but I appreciate you. I think it's cool that you're doing this.
Yeah, it's been quite the experience and quite a privilege to be able to talk to real professionals who are passionate about what they do.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
No worries. Until next time, guys. Ride the waves, dude.